Start the session. So we'll start with the quote as usual. What does it say? Ordinary people think merely of spending time. Great people think of using it. So you come here to spend your time or use your time? That's good. We'll see this paper. This is a very tough paper, especially. For the first time, I've seen questions related to spot the errors are really tough. Even those who are good at English cannot get, if someone gets 5+, it's highly appreciable and admirable. Not that easy. Because you have to spot 2 errors, one problem, and very difficult to spot the errors. So 10 questions related to errors. Passage is rather moderate. You should get 5+, should not be a problem. And synthesis, they have made it easy for you. You should get about 7 or 8 here. Should not be a problem. The last part, scoring part, very easy. And next, you should start with the last part, then the passage, and finally you should go to the 10 questions related to errors. Usually people try to avoid passages. I was told by one of our students yesterday, some exam, it seems they gave 4 passages. How many passages? 4. Imagine you are the candidate who doesn't like to read passages, or the candidate who hates passages. Imagine you applied 4 passages in one exam. What will you do? So always be prepared for the worst. You never know what is going to happen. So this paper you should get between 14 and 18. That's a pretty good score in my opinion. Highly appreciable. So shall we see the first 10 questions related to what? Errors. As I said, these questions, what do the instructions say? In the given sentences, 4 parts A, B, C, D are given. Find out the error in the given parts. If there is no error in any part, answer 5. But the options, if you see, what do you make out? You have to spot how many errors? 2 errors. We'll start with question number 1, shall we? Soon the farmers' dependence on distant markets catch up with them. However, as the state bank system that had sprung up to support speculation collapsed, dragged agricultural prices and land values down with it. At the outset, you cannot make out, one reading you cannot make out. I don't hesitate to say all these questions, if someone says, or I could spot both the errors in one reading, I may not believe also. Not possible. You have to read minimum 2 times. Still, there is no guarantee you can spot the errors. So here, but when you read this sentence, the idea goes into past or present or future. What does it talk about? What does it deal with? Past. Now underline the verb. In the first part, what is the verb? Catch up. Do you think it is right or wrong? It is wrong. What is the correct form? Caught up. Please correct it. Soon the farmers' dependence on distant markets caught up. Catch is not right. Change it to caught. This is rather easy. Now what is this option? A. How many options are there with A? You should decide whether the second one is B or D. With them, however, as a state bank system, you cannot make out an error here, so don't consider B. We'll look at D. What is the last part of the sentence? Dragged agricultural prices and land values down with it. Drag down, please underline, they have used a phrasal verb and they wanted the students to make out whether it is the appropriate phrasal verb or not. What is the phrasal verb here? Drag down. Drag down means pull down by using, I'll show. First you try to get the meaning of it. So drag down means what? Pull down using force to make someone feel depressed, feel low. It doesn't go with this context. Please underline agricultural prices and land values. So what is the context here? Is it personal or related to prices? Economy. Related to economy. Prices means what? Related to economy. So drag down doesn't go with this combination. So what is the appropriate phrasal verb? Pull down. Pull down means what? To lower something down, and it goes with prices. Now make a note. What is the answer based on my analysis? The answer is AD. That is the answer. Now, drag down, to depress or demoralize, that is one meaning. Exert a force with a heavy weight. Now you can decide for yourself whether it is appropriate or not. Is it appropriate? Does it go with prices, this meaning? No. Drag down. What is the other phrasal verb here? Pull down. To reduce to a lower level. To make it easy for you, I have brought an example. So what is the example here? The bad news pulled down the stock prices. Now what are you supposed to underline here? Prices. In the sentence, they have used prices. So this goes with prices, not drag down. And they have used one verb. What is that? It is a noun as well as a verb, spring. As a verb, what are the three forms? Spring, sprang, sprung. Please make a note of that. As a noun, it has two different meanings. One is the regular spring you use in some parts. And what is the other noun? Season. But as a season, there's an important rule you have to recollect. What is that rule? If you take English people, generally we use something that denotes male, masculine gender, something that denotes female, feminine gender, something that denotes either male or female, common gender, neither male or female, neuter gender. Neuter gender goes with things and objects. Like duster, can you talk in terms of male or female? Certainly not. And English people, what they thought, certain things or objects, they display power and strength on one hand, on the other hand, beauty and grace. Anything or object that displays power and strength, they said masculine gender. Anything that displays beauty and grace, feminine gender. They considered of the four seasons, summer and winter masculine, spring and autumn feminine. So in many exams they gave one sentence. Please write that sentence. The spring season has its own beauty. The spring season has its own beauty. Underline its own beauty. Is this right or wrong? What is the correct sentence? Feminine gender. So what will you say? Her own beauty. The spring season has her own beauty. Do remember the seasons are very important. Now shall I move on to the next question? It is a travesty. I'll show the meaning later. Listen and try to get. Travesty means something that has been distorted, not properly presented. So in a simple way, the meaning of the word distortion. What is the meaning of travesty? Distortion. It is a travesty of representative democracy when elected representatives could retain their parliamentary status even after being alienating from the party's popular base on which they were voted in. This is again not a familiar context. Have you ever come across the word travesty in your lifetime? I don't think so. Many of these questions, many of these sentences, I myself have come across certain words for the first time in my lifetime. Do you understand what I say? These are not that easy. So, the question is obviously a tough question. Where is the error? We'll see the first one. This sentence talks about what? Present or past or future? Present. It talks about a fact. When we talk about the fact, can we use a helping verb in the past form? No. Then where is the first error? Could is not right. Change it to can retain. Can retain the parliamentary. So where is the error? B. How many options are there with B? What are the two options? One is BC, AB and BC. Now here, the second one is rather easy. Will you say status even after being alienated or alienating from the party? Alienated. Please correct it. After being alienated, after being separated, after being isolated. These are the typical patterns. Please write one or two patterns. After being alienated, after being isolated, after being separated. Given a choice, I would love to give a lot of examples, patterns, only then you can remember. But unfortunately, we don't have so much time. When I say quickly, try to listen and write. So what is the answer based on that? It is B and, are you guys listening? So what is the answer? B and C, the second option is the answer. Please make a note of the word travesty. Means what? A false, absurd, or distorted representation of something. In a simple way, you could call it distortion. Distortion. Distortion means what? Not presenting the actual picture, the actual thing. I want all of you to write quickly today for two reasons. One, we have to spend a lot of time on this paper. That is one reason. The second reason being, I have brought today, because the exam you have only 4 days, if I'm not wrong, 4 or 5. The 5th day, let us not consider 4 days. I would like to give, as I promised, I would like to spend time on important errors, rules related to errors. Today I have brought 100 rules. Introduction, how to spot the errors. Then I brought 100 sentences, each sentence representing a particular error. When I read out the sentence, you guess the correct form, you learn one rule, or rather recollect one rule. So I need about half an hour for that. That means what? This paper we have to finish in 45 minutes. So try to cooperate. Shall I move on to the next question? What is the question number? To save time, written newspapers called Akbar are known to have been in circulation during the time of the Mughal Empire. Please underline Mughal Empire. We have to use a definite article, the. Please recollect that. But the printed newspapers came into existence only after the contact with the West. To save time, there is no error in this sentence. Please make a note. What is the answer? No error. Question number 4. At America. Will you say in America or at America? So please correct it. No. How many options are there with A? 1, 2. You have to look at C or D. In America, for instance, shareholders have a comparatively big say in the running of the enterprises. Big say. That is right. Underline that expression. In the running of the enterprises they own. Workers who are for a most part only weakly unionized have much less influence. There is an error in the second part. Please make a note. The answer here is, where is it? The third part, I'm sorry. AC. What is the error? Tell me. First part already have got in America. Where is the error in the third part? That's a bit difficult to make out. I will give the clue. It is related to the article. So here, a most is not right. Change it to the most. The most part, for the most part, not a most part. So what is it related to? Articles. So what is the answer here? The third option is the answer. Question number 5. On this spectrum, Japanese capitalism lies even further away from. You may get the doubt, further away, is it right or wrong? It's absolutely right. Don't worry about that. The American variety, no punctuation, nothing. I don't know how you guys can manage. No role except to provide capital. Managers have been left alone to run their companies as they saw fit, namely. Here, this is a very difficult question. The error is in the third part. What is the third part? C. What is the error? Saw is not right. Please change it to as they see fit. You should use the present form, not the past form. Left alone to run their companies as they see fit, namely for the benefit of employees and of allied companies, as much as, what is the error here? In is not right, as much as for shareholders. Please correct it. Here, benefit of employees and of allied companies, for the benefit of, and for shareholders. In shareholders, is it right? No. So what is the answer based on that? Where do you find the first error? C and D. Which option says that? The first option is the answer. Please write the meanings of these two words. Spectrum. It has got many meanings, but I've brought the relevant meaning. Spectrum means what? Simple way, a range. Used to classify something in terms of its position on a scale between two extreme points. You could also write the word range. The range of something. We also say the spectrum of something. Allied. Allied means what? Joined by or relating to members of an alliance. That is easy to understand. Shall I move on to the next question? Is it question number 6? This is again very difficult to make out. Michel Foucault, a French person I suppose, one of the foremost French thinkers or thinker. Will you say one of the foremost French thinker or thinkers? So please add the letter S. Of the 20th century, writes that woman has always been man's dependent and two have never shared the world in equality. Man the sovereign would provide women the liege. Liege means faithful, loyal, but it has a different meaning. I'll show you the meaning later. It is related to the feudal system that you may not understand. You have to have a look and write. Liege with material protection, but she might accept the moral constraints of confinement. But is there any option with A? Only one option. Which one is that? And here he talks about, please underline, woman, and somewhere he mentions man. Where is it? No, please underline. Singular or plural? Singular. Woman singular, man singular. Again you underline here, one more he has used. Man the sovereign would provide, he shifts to plural form. It is not right. So what is the correct expression? Women is not right, change it to singular. Hope you are listening carefully. It should be the same parallel expression. So based on that, what is the answer? BC. Am I right? We got the first error where? AC. So what is the answer? The first option is the answer. Very simple. This is all philosophy. Yesterday I tried to get some information about this person, but I didn't want to spend my time. Not relevant in the present day context. Please write the meaning of the word liege. Liege means what? Concern with or relating to the relationship between a feudal superior and a vassal. This goes with European system during the medieval times, not relevant in the modern times. Simply you write loyal, faithful. You can relate to these two meanings. And now on, I'm not going to get the words which you have got already. You have got those words, you have got the meanings. I don't want to waste my time and your time, again bringing the same word and presenting. Just I brought the word. Constraint means what? A limit, limitation. Confine means what? A restrict, confinement, restriction. You have to recollect. Have you written the meaning of this word? This is also very difficult. I don't know, it's so lengthy. Rupert Emerson, a leading American expert on colonial affairs, says the United Nations did not in fact establish. How many of you think there is an error in the first part? Raise your hands. I appreciate those students, but where is the error? Is it, has anyone thought worked is not correct? That is the error. Please change it to working, working jurisdiction. Work plus ing. I saw the actual sentence when I Googled. I saw the actual sentence. It is the actual sentence. Working jurisdiction, not worked. So please correct it. Work plus ing. That is the first error. Now, how many options are there with A? AC and AD. Jurisdiction over decolonization, and the great bulk of the politics of decolonization did not pass as it was through the UN funnel, but has been directly worked out whether peacefully or belligerently. Belligerent, it means something like hostile. I'm going to show the meaning later. By the colonial powers and the peoples, please underline the word peoples, whom they ruled. Now, where is the second error? People is absolutely right. A lot of students may think, the other day one girl was asking, sir, the word peoples, is it right? How many of you think the word peoples is right? Raise your hands. I see only a few. Usually the word people, it's a collective noun, and we use a singular form. But when we talk about different groups who belong to different regions, then we use or different groups in a particular country. In fact, yesterday I was going through, I saw one example, the peoples of Canada. What was the sentence I saw? The peoples of Canada, means different ethnic groups. Because in Canada they use 3 different languages. They use English, they use German, they use French. 3 different languages in Canada. So different ethnic groups. Then you can use a plural form. There's nothing wrong with that part. The word is absolutely right. Please stick that word. But there is an error in the fourth part. What is it? Here we cannot use has. Change it to had. It should be past perfect, not present perfect. Had been directly worked out. So what is the answer based on that? Which option says that? Please write the meaning of the word belligerent. Belligerent means what? Hostile and aggressive. Are you writing? You have written already. Before I could show. Oh, amazing. That is phenomenal. So what is the meaning of that? Hostile and aggressive. Now shall I move on to the next question? So what is the question number? To save time, there is no error in this sentence. This sentence is absolutely right. So please make a note. The fifth option, no error. This is again very tough. The focus of public and judicial concern over the situation prevailing. Generally we say prevailing situation, but you can also say based on the pattern, the situation prevailing. There is no error there. But first reading you may get tempted to think there is an error in the first part. There is no error here. In India's prisons has in recent times been related to overcrowding and long spell of incarceration faced by. Incarceration means imprisonment. We'll see the meaning later. Indigent. Indigent means poor and needy. Inmate means the one who spends his time either in the prison or in the hospital. But generally it goes with prison. It goes with hospital as well. Too poor to obtain bail. Now tell me, where is the error? This is the toughest in my opinion. There is an error in the third part. I'll give the clue. Fourth one is rather easy. See, the answer is, please make a note, CD. That is the answer. Fourth part you can tell. Third part, what is it? Where is the error? Are you guys listening? Tell me, where is the error? Which word? I will give the clue. No, paced by, no problem. Spell. Spell. Related to that. One letter is missing. Here, please underline the phrase long spell. Then we have to use the indefinite article a or the definite article the, but in this context, a long spell. The article is missing. That's so difficult to make out. It's a standard phrase, a long spell. Have you heard of this any time? We all think spell means a regular spelling, but it has so many meanings. Here the phrase, a long spell. Now where is the other error? This is rather easy. Will you say indigent inmate or inmates? Plural form should have been used. So what is the second? Inmate is not right. Inmates, too poor to obtain bail. Faced by not one inmate, many inmates. In a prison you see one person or many persons. So we have to use a singular noun or a plural noun, obviously. Please write, there are a few words. I want you to write quickly. If you don't write also, nothing to worry. We upload. You can watch later and make a note, because I can't afford to give a lot of time. Prevail has 2 or 3 different meanings. Be widespread or current in a particular area, that is one meaning, prevailing situation, or at a particular time. And prove more powerful or superior. That is the second meaning of the word, more powerful or superior. In this context, spell means what? A period of time for which an activity or condition lasts continuously. Something lasts for a long time. Spell of misfortune, a long spell of misfortune, a typical example. Incarceration, the state of being confined in prison. In other words, imprisonment. Indigent, poor and needy. The last one, be careful. Usually it goes with those who spend the time in jail, not hospital. A person confined to an institution such as a prison, hospital also. Is that the last question? One more is there. I'm changing. Scientists from Project Midas, underline the word, I have read out as an acronym. A UK-based Antarctic research project that have been looking at the ice shelf for many years have said, please underline have said. Have said, which tense is that? Which tense is that? He has said, they have said. Present perfect tense, remember that. Have said the formation of icebergs is natural and no link to human-induced climate change were available in this case. So where is the error? First one, scientists from Project, I don't know what's happening, Midas, a UK-based Antarctic research project that have been, please underline the subject. What is the subject here? Scientists have been looking at the ice shelf for many years, have said the formation of icebergs is natural and no link. Will you say no link or has no link? What will you say? Has no link to human-induced climate change. No, let me see. And no link to human-induced climate change. Here, were is not right. Please first you correct that one. And no link to human-induced climate change is available. Please correct it. Or was available, whatever the context. You cannot use a plural form. You have to use a singular verb. Why present? Singular and present. Because have said. Have said, which tense is that? Present perfect. So reported speech, present perfect. If the reporting verb is in present, present perfect or future, the tenses don't change. Already you must have learned. He says, I saw a movie yesterday. He says, which tense is that? Present tense. I saw a movie yesterday. Which tense is that? Past tense. It doesn't change. He says that he saw a movie. The time changes. The day before or the previous day. That you should recollect. What is the other error? Have been looking at the ice shelf for many years. Have said, have said that or have said the? Will you use that or not? So what is missing here? The word that. Please write that. Have said that. But have they given B, C, B, D? First option says what? B, D. There are two dimensions here. One is, the entire question is related to what? Are you guys listening? Related to what? Reported speech or indirect speech. So here, the clue for you, have said. He has said that. If you remember, when I taught direct and indirect under three headings, statements, questions, commands and requests, I said one thing clearly. When I taught statements, when you take statements, generally we use, she said, I am writing a letter. She said that she was writing a letter. But I told you that in brackets. Then what did I say? In written English, we use that, but conversation English, we may use, we may drop. That doesn't matter. So you should recollect that, and based on that, again, have said present perfect, the tenses don't change. Very simple. Here it is in present, natural, and is available, again present. This is a tough one. Has anyone got 5 plus? I should ask the question, how many of you have read these 10 questions? Raise your hand. So who has got 3 plus? 3 plus, but 5 you could not touch. You did not get enough time. Okay. How many have you got? All the 5 correct? Or you read only 5? Oh. Okay, fine. Now what is this passage about? Have you read the passage? I will repeat the question. Have you read the passage? What is this passage about? It is about life sentence, either giving the judgment saying that the life sentence should be concurrent. Concurrent means what? Same time. Or consecutive means what? One after the other. The whole passage is about that. Then he compares our system with the Western system, and he says what is frequent, what is not frequent. Based on that, a few questions. A little tricky if you are not aware of the background information, you don't have any exposure related to a passage like this, then difficult within the stipulated time period. But you have some idea about prison, imprisonment, judgment, conviction, all these things. You should be able to get about 7 or 8, should not be a problem. Now we'll see the questions. Is it question number 11? Before I started, I saw a few students yawning. So you want me to continue or not? What, according to the passage, both state and society expect? This is an easy one. It is based on explicit information. To save time, I'll tell you what is the answer. Or how many of you have chosen the fourth option? That is the answer. What does the fourth option say? The convicts should be imprisoned for as long as possible. Same wording has been used in the passage. Those who have read the passage, same wording. That means what? Explicit information. So please make a note. The fourth option is the answer. Which among the following is not true according to the passage given below? One offense in a single trial are infrequent in India. The idea of releasing a prisoner under supervised probation after a part of the sentence has been served is still frequent in India. Most of the countries balance it with a robust system of probation or parole. Circumstances, motive, and nature of the crime are all taken into account by judges in sentencing. So what is the answer here? One offense in a single trial are infrequent in India. Is it true or not true? The idea of releasing a prisoner under supervised probation after a part of the sentence has been served is still frequent in India. Is it frequent or infrequent? Infrequent. So what is the answer based on that? The second option is the answer. Is it question number 11 or 12? So what is the answer? Second option is the answer. How, according to the passage, 2 life sentences can be run consecutively? 2 or more sentences of life imprisonment cannot be made to run one after another. 2 or more sentences of life imprisonment can be made together, that is concurrent. 2 or more sentences of life imprisonment can be made to run one after another. So what is the answer here? The third option is the answer. This is rather easy. Which of the following is or are not common in India? A robust system of probation or parole. Is it common? Not common. One offense in a single trial. Hold that one. A lengthy prison sentences. Clearly mentioned, lengthy prison sentences are not common in India. But a robust system of probation or parole, that is also not common. But do you see that option? You don't see that option, and this wording has been mentioned very clearly. So based on that, between 1 and 3, you should go for the third one. What is it? Not common, clearly mentioned. Lengthy prison sentences are not common in India. Same wording. This is a little tricky. Which of the following would be a suitable title of the passage? Consecutive sentences, many lives in one jail term, consecutive jail term, convicts, Supreme Court. Now we'll take the elimination approach. Can you say Supreme Court? Please respond. No. Can you say convicts? Convict, verb form, convict, noun form. No. Now if you consider this one, you should consider this also. Both mean the same. Can you consider 2? Hope you guys are listening carefully. 1 and 3 both mean the same. That means both have to be ruled out. Then what are you left with? So what is the answer? Many lives in one jail term. Then you may ask, sir, how come? Here you should understand, many lives means many life imprisonment judgments. Lives means what? Not the regular life, not the plural of that. Here many lives means the life imprisonment sentence. Many sentences of life imprisonment. That's what it means. I hope you guys are listening carefully. Many lives means what? Many sentences of life imprisonment. According to the passage, it is all about that. So what is the answer? As I said, this passage, it all depends on your reading habit. This is what I've been telling you people. English, you cannot take an isolated approach. And if you think by learning a few words, mugging up a few idioms, mugging up a few phrasal verbs, and by learning about 200 grammar rules, if you think you are going to get 20 out of 30, you're going to make a fool out of yourself. As simple as that. To put in a plain this thing. English is a language. Any language, to master a language or to appreciate a language, you've got to be a good listener or a good reader. In this country, we don't use English. So the first option is ruled out. Outside, what do you come across? Telugu. Right or wrong? So the first option is ruled out. What is the second option you have? The only option rather. What is it? A reading. Now the million-dollar question. How many of you read every day? Please raise your hands. That's good. I appreciate all those students. And read what? You have to read the editorials. You have to read the magazines. You have to read the passages from previous year's papers and analyze the questions. Don't smile. I'm serious. You may think, some students may think, Master is really crazy. He tells all sorts of things which are not practical. Because he's not a student, he tells everything, very casual. But do remember, everything is possible. Today's quote says what? People try to spend their time, but great people, those who are very smart how to excel, they use their time. You are the creator of your day. Never say, I don't have time. You are the master of your time. You are the creator of your day. Where there is a will, there is a way. Imagine, usually we say your mom or dad tells some work, you're not interested, you say, no dad, I'm damn busy, I don't have time. No mom, I cannot do, I'm damn busy. And after some time your friend comes and says, you love or you like one of the actor or actresses a lot. Your friend comes and says, he is just in the mall. Then you get ready and within no time you go there. Then your mom wonders, sometime back he or she said no time, now how come he went out? Do you understand what I say? From where you get the time? It is all in your hands, your perception. But I would like to emphasize, because today I would like to say it with a lot of conviction. One of the reasons, one of our bright students said, one exam yesterday they gave 4 passages. I really wonder, imagine you are the guy, you don't want to read at all. Reading is boring for you. Reading is punishment for you. And you went and in the exam you got the paper and you see 4 passages. What will be your situation? Will you stay back or will you come out? You never know. When is your exam? October 14th or 15th? 1st? 13th. Imagine the same thing is going to happen on 13th. God forbid. God forbid. So same thing is going to happen. What will you do? All your effort will go down the drain. All your effort and time, energy, waste. Always be prepared for the worst and go in that direction. Then there's nothing more than the worst. You will be in a position to handle it or not. Very simple. But you always want the shortcuts. Students like the expression shortcut. Any master talks about shortcuts, they're so happy. Please remember, no shortcuts for success. There are no shortcuts for success. Very simple. And they want to tell important grammar rules. Those days are gone. Once they worked out important grammar rules, important words, now it is not like that. The scene is entirely different. Now let us go back to question number, is it question number 16? Similar in meaning, what is the word odium? Odium means what? Please write the meaning. Disgust. You can write later. So you want similar. Provoked? No. Adoring? No. Demonstrative? Not relevant. Already have got the word detest. Detest means what? To hate or dislike. So what is the answer based on that? 4th option is the answer. Please write quickly. Disgust, abhorrence, repugnance. I brought, this is a new word. That is also an important word. Provoke, stimulate or give rise to a particular reaction or emotion, usually a negative connotation. You make someone do something by saying something, that means you provoke him. Adore, typical American expression, admire a lot. Detest, dislike intensely. Many of you detest the passage. Right or wrong? No. Facts are always bitter. Facts are stranger than fiction. There's a popular saying, what is it? Facts are stranger than fiction. I'm changing, you can copy later. Opposite in meaning, what is the word? Subsume. Subsume means to incorporate, enclose, take into consideration. I will show the meaning. Fascinate means what? Attract, allure, attract, negative connotation. Exclude, include, opposite, exclude. Palpation, not relevant. Palpation, captivate, both mean the same, like attracting. So please write, answer is what? Exclude, include, incorporate, opposite, exclude. Oh, I'm sorry, palpation has a different meaning. Fascinate and captivate, one and the same. Subsume means include, encompass, incorporate. Fascinate, simply write attract. You have got this word many a time. Palpation means doctors, they examine a particular part in your body by touching. Medical purpose. That is called palpation. Don't get confused. There is one more word, similar word, palpitation. You know the word palpitation? Do you know the word palpitation? Imagine I ask you to come here and give a presentation. Please come here and say something. What will be your reaction? You may come, some of you. When you stand here, what will be your heart will start beating like anything, very fast. And that is called palpitation. Palpitation means the heartbeat becomes very fast, and when you get excited, this happens, palpitation. It results in sweating, a lot of sweating. I'm changing, hope you have copied these words. Could you tell the question number? 17 over 18. Similar in meaning, deterrent. You all should already have got this word many a time. Deterrent means what? Deter, prevent, because of the negative consequences. Obstacle, hold that one. Catalyst, agent, something that makes something happen. Incentive, positive word. Encouragement. Dazzle has got two different meanings. One is related to the brightness of sunlight. Too much brightness, we use the word dazzle. Another word, another meaning, something is quite impressive. And then we say dazzling performance, means impressive performance. Encouragement. So what is the answer here? Obstacle. What are the other words for obstacle? Impediment, hurdle, block, all these. Now please write, I have not brought the meanings, already I've got these words. Deterrent, obstacle, catalyst. Incentive, that also you must be knowing. What does it mean? Encouragement, stimulus, impetus. The word impetus is an important word. Try to write that one. Dazzle, two different meanings. One is related to bright light. Sometimes it makes you blind, so bright. Dazzling light. If you go to discotheques, they use dazzling light. The other one, to amaze, overwhelm, bewilder with spectacular display. Dazzling appearance, dazzling performance. We have run out of time, already 2:45. What is opposite? Anomalous, already I've got this word. Anomaly means what? Normal or abnormal? Abnormal. Atypical, eccentric, heteroclite, standard. Let us assume you are not aware of the meanings of these two words, heteroclite and aberrant. But deviation, what is opposite of deviation? Normal, abnormal. Standard, not standard. So based on that, what is the answer? Standard is the answer. Sometimes you have to use your presence of mind and common sense. Write the meanings of these two words. Heteroclite means abnormal or irregular. All those words are synonyms. Aberrant, departing from an accepted standard, that is also abnormal. I'm going to the next question. 20. Similar in meaning, condign. It means appropriate. You may not know this word, right? The answer is the first option, appropriate. Other words are not relevant here, but dearth, already have got the word. What is the meaning of that? Shortage, dearth of information, dearth of something, lack of something. Robust, strong, timid, dull and cowardly in nature, easy to control. He is a timid person, means easy to dominate, easy to control. There's one more word for that. Please write that word. You have got that word already. Docile. Improper, simple word. So please write the meaning of that. Appropriate. Of punishment or retribution, appropriate to the crime or wrongdoing, fitting and deserved. Appropriate means what? Fitting, apt. Is that the last question about the passage? The last 10 questions are rather easy. Today, if you take the 3 sections, which is the easiest one? The last one, the third one is rather easy. I'm changing. He has not given many options. That way, you're lucky. They are easy. Everyone now knows that the debate on education had been postponed. The government can discuss the latest crisis. So what is the answer here? So that, or so as to But you cannot use, it's not a contrast, in order that, furthermore. We'll check with so that. Everyone now knows that the debate on education had been postponed so that the government can discuss the latest crisis. Does it sound right or wrong? How many of you think this is the answer? Any other option you think of? That is right, please. 22. The government seems serious. The country's relations with its neighbors. Here, you may get tempted to choose the first one. But if you have to choose the first one, you have to use one more word. The government seems serious as far as the country's relations with the neighbors are concerned. But you don't see that. Do you see are concerned? The relations are concerned. You don't see. That means A is not, one is not right, provided that when with reference to. So, the government seems serious with reference to the country's relations with its neighbors. So, what is the answer here? The fourth option is the answer, not the first one. The city people state fearlessly rumors of terrorist attack in the area. So, the city people state fearlessly in spite of rumors of terrorist attack in the area. Does it sound right or wrong? How many of you have chosen the first option? Any other option you can think of? In the event of is not right. On account of, the city people state fearlessly on account of, in spite of is appropriate, in case of not relevant. However, also you cannot use. So, what is the answer here? The first option is the answer. In the view of financial crisis, the company does not have any choice but to close down the factory. This is rather easy. What is the answer here? Where is but to close down the factory? Does not have any choice but close down the factory. This is rather easy. Had I stepped out of my house, please put a star mark this one. Many senior students must have got this right. So, what is the answer for this? The third option, first you make a note. Hardly had I stepped out of my house when I saw some policemen coming towards my house. But beginners are there. The beginners, please make a note. When we use this expression, this is an important rule. I would like to spend 2 minutes. Hardly. When we use this expression, we have to use, what is the combination word? Hardly, scarcely, we have to use the word when. There is one more expression, write that also, no sooner. Then what is the word we are supposed to use? So, beginners, please remember this combination. Hardly, when, scarcely, when, no sooner than. That is one dimension, the combinations. The second dimension, please underline, had I stepped out of my house. When you use hardly or scarcely or no sooner, the clause that follows should be in interrogative form, not in affirmative form. I had stepped out, affirmative. What is interrogative? Had I stepped out. So, please underline that and put a star mark. Both the dimensions you have to keep in mind. Is it question number 26 now? Do children have fewer chances of surviving? They also lack educational opportunities. So, here, this is to some extent difficult, but what is the answer? Not only do children have fewer chances of surviving, comma, they also lack educational opportunities. How many of you have chosen the first option? Any doubt? This is the right one, no second thoughts. Not only do children, I know why some people are looking at me like that. Please underline the verb do. Please underline. Not only do children, here I will put the word do in brackets, perhaps you will be convinced. Now how does it go? Read the sentence. Not only children have fewer chances of surviving, they also lack educational opportunities. This seems right. Then you may ask, sir, what does this do in the sentence? What does it convey? It conveys the writer is trying to emphasize. Trying to do what? Emphasize. If someone asks you, do you like English? Don't say I don't like. It will be a problem. Casually you say, Yes, I like English. You want to emphasize. What will you say? Yes, I do like English. I do like means what? You're trying to emphasize. That's what it means. The sentence is absolutely right. So what is the answer here? The first option. 27 is rather easy. Tell me what is the answer? Ram's parents knew that he was addicted to gambling, but they could not do anything to reform him. Easy one. The fact that he worked hard, he still didn't get success. What is the answer here? The second option. In spite of the fact that he worked hard, he still did not get success. The unemployment rate has dropped sharply this month. It may only be temporary. So what is the answer? Though the unemployment rate has dropped sharply this month, it may only be temporary. So what is the answer? Hope you guys are listening. I'm doing it a little fast because these are rather easy. Though. The last one, the guidelines, though in the foreign language, were so simple that we could follow all of them without any difficulty. So what is the answer? The guidelines were so simple that we could follow all of them without any difficulty. Has anyone got all the 10 right? The last 10. 8 plus? That's good, I appreciate. Now we'll go to Raju.